Hello, this is Chum and Sons with me, son, and no chum, just Rusty. Looking at the screen. I don't know how long this will last. Um, yeah, Chum is currently playing with his friend downstairs, so I've been relegated up here. Or I could go out, but I thought I'd stay here instead and talk about Game of Thrones. She's lovely, this dog is. I love her to bits. Um, yeah, season 7 of Game of Thrones. There's been a lot going on. It's been brilliant, in fact. Really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. Look, she's falling asleep. Um, yeah, right. It's alright. I'm too busy looking at the dog. She's never really this still. I could never really get her on camera. I'm going to leave her now. Yeah, so yeah, season 7. Um, reason I'm really talking about it. Oh, well, before we continue on our channel, I've had a few people say, "Do you just watch TV all the time with your son?" No, I do other things as well, but I decided to set up this channel with my son, or Chum. I'm meant to be the son. I don't know. That's a bit confusing, all that is, but anyway, that's our name. That's what we agreed on, Chum and Son. And yeah, it's just a bit of a hobby. But I don't just watch TV and films all the time. I do other things as well, believe it or not. But anyway, yes, I just wanted to talk about this season. It's been brilliant, but it's quite. I want to start on negatives, not about the season, but about people's attitudes towards this season. I see a lot of comments on different feeds moaning about the pace of this season, because I suppose seasons 1 to 6 were a little bit slow pace. You did see changes in 6 actually, because we've overtaken the writer who wrote the books based on the show, George R.R. Martin, and on the back of that, the show has been able to get a general idea off the writer as to what's happening further down the line, and sort of, you know, the TV have almost essentially taken, you know, creative control over it a little bit, and it showed, but I'd say more in a positive light than a negative. You know, there was a. I've just got to let the dog out the room. She's had enough of my voice. She needs to sleep, man. She needs to sleep. She doesn't need me chatting away, but she'll be back in a minute, guarantee. But yeah. Lost my trail of thought now. Yeah, they've been moaning about the pace. People have been moaning about the pace on the internet, and that winds me up, because not a lot really happened. A lot did happen, but it was slow progression. Sorry, just burped. That's disgusting. There was a slow progression to get where we are now. You know, spoilers to get Khaleesi. I needed to start with that 3 minutes ago, that I'll be talking about things. And if you're not up to date on Game of Thrones, don't watch this video. You know, switch off now, because I'm going to talk about just little things. I'm not going to go into that much detail. I'm just going to moan about moaners, basically. I think that's the whole point of this video for me. People moaning about silly things. In the last episode, we saw a dragon fall into ice, and people have been saying all sorts of things like, how did the White Walkers pull the, you know, and the Whites pull the dragon out of the ice? You know, where did they get those giant chains from? Things like that. These are things, you know, they're almost negatives, but these are things that shouldn't really be overthought. It's a fantasy show. It's fiction. It's not real. Oh, she's back. Hey, there she is. I knew she'd be back. Hello, Beans. You know, it's fiction, so stop moaning, you twats. Basically, the White Walkers, I mean, I'll explain it to you. White Walkers and Whites aren't like your typical zombies. They're not like Walking Dead zombies. They're not completely mindless. If you notice from what's his name? Hard Home. That's it. That episode, that massively brilliant episode, episode season 5, where the Whites and the White Walkers attacked a base the other side of the wall. They carried weapons. The Whites carried weapons. The Whites carried weapons. So there shouldn't be no surprise that they can orchestrate, with the help of the White Walkers, some giant chains to pull a dragon out of the ice. And trust me, it's worth it, because now the White Walkers of the Whites have got a dragon in their, in their arsenal. So it's not unbelievable that they could get giant chains, and they're like, yeah, but Whites can't swim. What are you on about? If you remember when they were fighting in the last episode, Tormund nearly gets pulled under the ice by two Whites who, try to pull him down. They come back up out of the ice and pull him down. So they can either swim or they can float. So use your brains, people. It really pisses me off when I watch a show as great as this and people are negative about it. I think people who read the books and were invested in the books that were written back in the 80s, I can understand them being pissed off with certain things that, the show's changed. I get that, because I'd be pissed off if I'd dedicated that much time into reading books for a show to come along and kind of bulldoze over it. I could understand that. But I think you get these people on the internet and they just bitch and moan about everything. And what annoys me about it is these are the same people who moan about The Walking Dead and that the pace in that, which is snail's pace. And I've been a little bit guilty of that. But I read the books, I read the comic books, and I understand where the show's going. I get it, and it's tough making a show. These people need to try and make a show themselves. I've never made a show, but I can imagine it's really difficult coordinating actors, schedules, all that crap, getting the story right. I was disappointed with the last season of The Walking Dead, but I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to keep watching the show. I'm not going to go, oh, fuck you, and all this. No, it ain't going to happen. I'll still watch it. Going back to Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, which is what I was talking about. The pacing is a little crazy. The bit where they were stuck on the ice, on the rock, with the Whites hanging around them, while they sent Gendry to get back to the wall, to then send a raven to Daenerys to then bring the dragons in the space of what looked like about, half a day and a night, is a little bit hard to swallow. But going back to my earlier comment, it's freaking fantasy. Do you know what I mean? It's not real. I don't know the top speed of a raven. I don't know. They were like, how does Gendry know his way, from the wall? How did he know? I mean, from my beliefs of watching that episode, they didn't go far before they encountered those Whites. They did not go far, and it looked like a straight walk. Do you know what I mean? So it's not unbelievable that Gendry managed to get back. He was the fastest. He got back, and the Raven got to Daenerys. Perhaps if I'd have been the showrunner, I'd have had something like, perhaps that they set up a beacon or something that they can light. A bit like Lord of the Rings, that they could light for the wall to then go, send a raven or something like that. Or perhaps Daenerys is sitting there, a Dragonborn, thinking, I can't be doing with this. Jon Snow and that, they've gone out to do this. I'm going to go and investigate anyway. I'd have perhaps maybe looked at that. But bloody hell, what an episode. It was brilliant. It really was. If I was to rank this episode, I'd give it a very high score. I've been seeing like 6s and 7s out of 10. This show deserves 8s, 9s and awards and 10s, and it's just amazing. It really is. I keep going on and saying, back in my day, just the programmes I used to have to watch. I mean, there were some good programmes back when I was a kid, but nothing to the scale of this. This is like film quality stuff. This is. I think they spend something like 6 to 8 million per episode on Game of Thrones. It's absurd. I wouldn't have dreamt that they'd spend this sort of money on a show back when I was a kid. Not that I understood money when I was a kid, but even so, I mean, it just beggars belief. It beggars belief these people can moan. I don't know why I'm bothered about these silly, petty children. But yeah, I mean, this season has been absolutely brilliant. So what if they fast travel? Who cares? Oh, things are getting done now. I don't understand. Why is everything being rushed? Well, we've sat for 6 seasons waiting for things to happen. So what if they all happen now? That's fine. Oh, accept that. The episode that airs next week is on for like 80 minutes. 80, it's on for nearly the scale of a film. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, I know what happens anyway because I've seen the leaks online. But I'm an idiot. I saw a leak the other day, and I'm going to read this. It's got the leaked script, so I know what happens. But oh wow, I'm still excited. I cannot wait to watch this. It's been brilliant. It really has. Something to look forward to on a Sunday or Monday night, depending on when you watch it. It's great, great TV. This is the future, man. This is the future. And you know what? HBO are going to flog this. They're going to flog this, man. Like, because they're talking about doing prequels and all this crap. Carry on. I'm not gonna complain. It's gonna be brilliant. I'll see more of this. I'll see more of this stuff. I really will. I could sit and watch it all day. I remember as a kid reading The Hobbit and then attempting Lord of the Rings afterwards. And I mean, these books were written by Tolkien for his kids and grandkids. Really, he wrote them. They are essentially children's stories. They are a little bit dark in places. Well, the Rings trilogy is quite dark in places, and but what's the point of what I'm saying? The point is, I grew up on that, then Dungeons and Dragons and things like that as well, D&D, all these kind of things. And I remember thinking, sort of, you get to a certain age and you think, wow, wouldn't it be great if they did something like this, but it had an adult theme to it, And they did it. They found these books by George R.R. Martin, and I've read a couple of them. I will go back to reading them one. I'm going to wait till he's finished them all if he manages to do that, and then I'm going to read them. It's on my list of things to do if I ever retire, which I probably won't. But if I did, I'd just sit and read them books for sure. And they are very well written books. They really do read well. Very, very, very. He's very, very good at writing characters. So it was good source material for this amazing show that they've made. It's almost like sky's the limit. There doesn't seem to be a limit on the budget for it, which is just fantastic. I remember Kiefer Sutherland saying years ago with 24 that TV was the future. It really was. They had invested a lot of money in 24 back in the day, and you could see even now watching that holds up really well. I remember him saying, I can't believe you're gonna see a change in TV. TV's gonna become amazing, and it has. Some of the stuff you see now, there's too much. There's just too much to watch. I'm reading this at the minute. My brother lent me. It's been recommended to me by a few people. There's a TV show about it out. I've heard it's a bit but there's a TV show of this. There's TV shows of comics. It's absolutely amazing. This is it. This is like everything I could have asked for. Really, these companies making these things. I just watched the Defenders show on Netflix, and that was great as well. And I just can't believe it that you've got these things about, and they're going to make a Punisher show soon. Netflix are. Wow, and people I don't know why I go on the internet really. Well, I do because I do these videos with my son, and we again, it's a hobby, but it does frustrate me when people moan and groan and go, pace, badly scripted, that person's a terrible actor or actress. I just think, really, I've seen terrible acting, Watch Doctors or EastEnders sometimes. Actually, to be fair to EastEnders, there is some good actors and actresses in that. I hate the show. I think it's part of the decline of this country, but don't get me started on that. It gives people an excuse to argue at Christmas, EastEnders does, and just be tossers. But if you want to see some bad acting, watch some of the soaps. Watch some of the soaps and some of the daytime things on TV, and you'll see a bag of shit, a lot of it. But you know, you go back to this sort of stuff. It's based on good books, things like that. Man, I'd love to go forward 200 years and see what's going to be going on then. You know, if Trump doesn't blow us all up. Oh my days, the things we're going to see. Brilliant. Anyway, I've gone on a little bit now. Well, Chum and myself, we need to cut our videos down. We keep saying this. I mean, the last one was like 27. So it was 27 minutes, nearly half an hour or more. If you haven't watched that one, watch that one. It's much better than this one. It's my son talking about Assassin's Creed. This one's just me talking about Game of Thrones. Chum would have been with me, but obviously he's downstairs with his mate. And the other thing, the other reason why he's not here at the moment is because he's only 14, and Game of Thrones is it's got boobies and cocks and things in it. You know, in a 14-year-old seeing that sort of thing, really, do you? He really does want to watch it, and I really do want to let him watch it, and you know, but I don't know. You got to. There's got to be a level of innocence there. So you know, I'll give it a bit of time. It'd be great to see what his views are on it, and maybe in a couple of years, because I'm not going to wait till he's 18. I'm a good dad, but I'm not that good, you know. Couple of years, if we're still doing Chum and Sons, we'll do a full review of all the seasons and talk about it in more detail. You know, well, I bet you can't wait. But anyway, that's that from me and from my partner today, Rusty. Say hello, Rust. Say hello. No, she's not impressed. If I'm not fussing her, she sulks. Anyway, thank you. Please subscribe. I keep saying this. Please subscribe to our show. It involves for your older folks or whatever. It involves getting an account, getting an email, getting an email address, and signing into YouTube, creating an account on there before you can subscribe. But if you don't, just click like. Click likes, fine. Likes are good as well. You know, and I hope you enjoy some of these videos, if only to see my dog, you know. Anyway, take care. See you soon. Bye.